Well, Guadalajara, Mexico, its elevation is over 5,000 feet above sea level. It's comparable to New Mexico. Have you been training for that elevation when you have this boxing match?
That's very interesting. I don't think I don't put in this in my mind, but I train hard and I go to Mexico. I think 2 or 3 weeks for adaptation, and we'll see.
Jake Paul. Yeah, I did. I took the bait. I guess I shouldn't have done. I mean, no, listen, they made me an offer for some money, right, to fight him. And I wasn't really interested, but I said, double that to my manager. Well, my manager went back with double. I said, let's see what he says with that. Do you know what I mean? Let's see if he's really serious. So he did send me an offer. So I did say in a couple of interviews that he had made me an offer. And I know what he did. He was just using me. He had no intention of ever fighting me. But by me saying that, it makes him look legit. But God bless him. Hey, good for him. Jake Paul is getting a lot of hate, but again, the guy had a big YouTube following, and he's parlayed that into his combat sports career. The guy clearly has a passion for boxing and combat. So good for him. Obviously, he's a wealthy man by all accounts. People seem to have an issue with that. Well, there's no prerequisite that you got to come from a tough background to be a fighter. You know what I mean? God, I respect everyone that steps in there. He's making money and he's parlaying his audience into, big numbers in the boxing world. Good for him. He's just being smart, And then regarding his opponents as well, Nate Robinson and Ben Askren, when you start off in a boxing career, your opponents are terrible. That's just how it goes in boxing, So Jake's actually fighting better competition than a lot of people should be doing at the start of their career. As I say, I think the whole thing with this YouTubers and the celebrities, and I saw something with TikTokers and stuff recently, they're doing all this boxing stuff. I do believe it waters down the sport. I do believe that it somewhat takes away from the prestige and the honor that goes into combat sports. But at the same time, fair play. Everyone's trying to get ahead in this life. Just to maintain and just to live and just to have a roof over your head and pay your bills is not easy in this world. It's tough, because I know just paying your bills is hard. So you can't hate on someone going out there and being an entrepreneur, if you will. I think Leon Edwards at welterweight. Obviously, you got Kamaru Usman, who's a total beast, so I'm not saying anything bad about Usman, but Leon is looking sensational. I think Leon's going to go out there and beat Nate. I gotta be careful when you say this, because Diaz has a lot of fans. Got
a lot of fans.
And he's gonna get smoked. He's gonna get smoked. There you go. I said it. He's gonna get smoked of of Leon Edwards, and Leon Edwards is gonna fight for the belt pretty soon. He has to.
Yeah.
Bit of a log jam. Obviously, you got Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw. I think for anybody, that is the number one contender fight. Because TJ, former champion, he had his troubles, whatever, served his time. So Sandhagen's looking incredible. So I don't see how that's not a number one contender fight. In fact, I'm not lobbying for an interim title, but it's not a bad idea, because Aljamain's going to be out for a little bit. And, obviously he's going to rematch Piotr Jan when that happens, when he comes back, and then the rest of the division needs to move along. And when you're injured, like when I was charmed, I had to have knee surgery, and Dana called me and said, well, listen, we're going to have to do an interim title. And I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. Because in my mind, the interim champ, that's just the number one contender. That solidifies that, and it keeps the division moving. It gives the fighters something to work towards. So I don't think that's a bad idea.